Michigan State's back in action Tuesday. They're playing Georgia Southern, who is 0-6 on the young season, Carter. This should be a good spot for Michigan State. I thought that they looked really good against Arizona for large stretches of that game. I was impressed by their fight. I was impressed by A.J. Hogard and Jaden Aiken's response to the adversity of what they did in the first half. And now they're back home after a holiday week against Georgia Southern in a spot where I think we could see Michigan State on like their A-plus game. Although Tyson Walker's down 19 pounds. That's not good, right?
That's definitely not good. Do we think he's actually down 19 pounds?
No, I don't.
You don't? Okay. Have you had COVID yet? Like in your
yes. Are we getting political? Is that what's happening?
No, we're not getting political. But I will say the first time I had COVID, I did lose like 11 pounds in like a week and a half.
So okay, then if we are going down this path,
but also I'm massive.
But so a similar experience happened to me, and I'm not saying that could, like, if he got COVID, he probably definitely lost that weight. If he got COVID also, aren't other guys on this team about to be sick?
That's very true. Well, have you ever, well, I was going to say, like, in comparison, like I've had a stomach flu before, and like I've lost some weight while I've had a stomach flu, obviously, because you can't eat or keep food down. 19 pounds is wild. Or was it 14 pounds? That's wild.
Was it not 14? Am I just making up 19?
No, I'm pretty sure it's 14.
I thought he said 19. I don't mean to just lie about what Tom Izzo's saying.
Was it 19? I thought it was 14.
Hold on. Yeah, okay, 14. So I misquoted Tom Izzo. I apologize. He said Tyson Walker lost 14 pounds. Said Tyson weighed in at 169 when they got back. He was 183 a couple weeks ago. Tyson Walker's small. That's my takeaway. Like, I didn't realize this man was 180 pounds to begin with.
Yeah, he's very small.
Little man's a killer.
Yeah, he is, but he's also very small.
This man hoops like he's 220. All muscle, by the way. Anyways, look, whether or not Tyson's healthy, I think this is a game Michigan State should win rather large. Tom Izzo did say some other things in his weekly presser, as he is one to do consistently. He says things. And Xavier Booker was another topic of conversation. He talked about how he just point blank needs to see more. He needs to see Xavier Booker's motor always on. And there was a quote that Xavier came back after the DNP against Arizona and followed that up with his best practice since he's been in East Lansing. I know you are an expert in players not playing and then coaches talking about how good they are in practice. So what does that mean here? Is Xavier Booker actually doing well? Is this coach speak? Is he going to play?
If he doesn't play in this game, then there should be some serious issues. I don't want to mince words when I say this, that Georgia Southern is one of the worst teams in the country. We're talking 322nd on KenPom, 290 in offense, 340 in defense. Like, this team is really, really bad. They're around, to put it in for Michigan State fans' terms, they're about 10 spots ahead of where Southern Indiana was. And Southern Indiana probably went up with their performance against Duke, honestly. So this is a team that we should be able to put two halves of good basketball together. We should run away with this game. We shouldn't have any situation where there is a 12-0 run like we had against Southern Indiana. This should be a domination from start to finish. Everybody should play. But back to your original question with the Xavier Booker thing. Xavier Booker had the same practice that he's had all year, probably, to be honest with you. Maybe he got on the floor for a loose ball or something like that, and that was so surprising to Izzo that he said it was his best practice of the year. But I'm starting to get seriously concerned that all this man has to do is show some type of effort or motor, and he'd probably play based on what is happening with the rest of the front court, and either he can't or he won't do it. And that's really, really tough, I think.
It's a fascinating angle. I give you some credit for getting us to this point, because I haven't thought of it this way. Do you think it's that he can't do it, or do you think it's that he won't do it?
I think it's that he can't, or he doesn't know how. I think he doesn't know how, which is, I've never been able to actually relate to this, because I'm not saying I'm like a try hard or anything like that, or I'm an all out effort type dude. But like, it's I hate like being the Monday morning quarterback or whatever. It is not that hard to show effort in practice. I'm not saying you got to be Pat Bev, but you can't show effort during practice. You can't be not lazy in practice. That seems like very easy not to do. Even if you want to fake it, you can fake it if you really want to. It'd probably be easier just to actually show effort, but you can fake it. The fact that there is multiple reports and people that are saying that he's just kind of a lazy or doesn't know how to play hard. I don't know if lazy is the right word, but you can use the more sensitive term in this case, which is he just doesn't know how to play hard yet, which is kind of disappointing because it's you want a guy who has that type of talent and with the holes that this team has to make his way onto the floor, and all you got to give is the coaching staff a little bit of meet them 10% of the way, and they'll probably get you out there and see what you can do. But if you're not willing to even do that, then it's tough to put up a fight for them.
Yeah, I think it's just low motor is how I would describe it. Like I don't want to say like he doesn't play hard or he's lazy. I just want to say like he plays with a low motor. And I do think that is something that some guys just have and some guys don't. It probably comes from habits that were built at a much younger age. Like it's kind of it's the same way. Like I don't know. Now we're getting into nature versus nurture here, but like if you grow up in an environment that allows you to build bad habits, you build bad habits. And I don't want to criticize Xavier Booker's previous coaches at previous stops or where he's come. But like the hope was when he committed to Tom Izzo that Tom was the perfect coach to ignite this within him in a way that we've never seen it before, because none of this is a surprise, right? Like if you listen to people who watch Xavier Booker, even when he rocketed up the rankings, the MO of Xavier Booker was, well, he doesn't have a great motor. So it is kind of fascinating looking back at it now. Like Tom really made him the centerpiece of their recruiting class, right? Like he obviously this ended up a great class, and Fears and Carr are awesome, but like Booker was the blue chip. He was the guy they were courtside for. He was the guy that they prioritized over everybody else in this class. And it's kind of crazy to me that like they did that for a guy with a low motor, because that's so not an Izzo thing. And now it's clashing. And I don't even think we can be upset that it's clashing, because Izzo's never going to play someone with a motor like that.
Yeah, maybe it was more of an optimistic, like he thought he could get something out of him. Like he saw it there and he's like, oh, I'm the coach to get it out of this guy. I just got to get him here. I got to get him on campus. I can get it out of him. But obviously that's not the case. And like I said, we don't want to use the word lazy. Like you said, it could just be like motor issues. But the fact of the matter is it's disappointing. Like it truly is disappointing that we're having our McDonald's All-American 5-star player get DMPs because he can't practice hard enough. That's it. Nothing to do basketball-wise. He can't practice hard enough to earn minutes. And that's disappointing to me. It is. Like and hopefully it changes. I feel like it should change, especially because if I'm Xavier Booker, me putting myself in his shoes, I'm seeing all this. I'm seeing Coach Izzo's quotes. I'm probably hearing what he's saying to me in practice. And he's probably telling me to get it going. Like, pick the motor up. That's what you need to focus on. Why would he not come into every single day at practice being like, that's what I'm going to do? If I make or miss shots today, that does not matter whatsoever. My motor is going to be good today. I'm going to have good body language today. And then I could probably get myself onto the floor. Like, don't you, at the end of the day, as a college basketball player, you want to play. Xavier Booker has a clear path to play and knows what he has to do to play, but he's not doing it.
Yeah, it's rough. Also, you could teach classes in giving fake effort. I feel like that's not a criticism of you, but I feel like to your point of it's not hard to appear like you're giving effort, even if you're not giving effort. Like,
it's definitely harder to fake effort sometimes, but also like I was never the most talented. I was never the fastest, never the highest jumper. So like I did things that looked like I had to give full effort. I had to mentally know where I had to be on the floor. I had to do shit like dive on the floor. Like you telling me that Xavier Booker doesn't dive on the floor in practice one time for a loose ball, the whole team doesn't lose their mind, and that earns him 5 minutes alone. But I truly believe he won't do that. He won't do that.
Are these I mean, you don't have to share whatever you don't want to share, but are some of these thoughts, are these rumblings from any sort of behind the scenes source here, or are these, I feel like you might be privy to something that I'm not, that is leading you to say some of these things, because this sounds like a different tune on Xavier Booker than I've heard previously from you.
So I did ask around a little bit, and because I was like, who knows? Like maybe the dude like actually isn't practice or not having motor issues. Coach Izzo's just being Coach Izzo. Like there's a very real world that he's just trying to motivate Xavier. It's really not as bad as he kind of makes it out to seem. And I don't know whatever tactic he's trying to use. But I started asking around and asking like what the practices look like or what did he look like during the summer. And it all came back to the point that the body language and the effort and the motor is not there yet. And it has me convinced that it hasn't got there yet. And that's why we're seeing things like him not playing.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. I mean, not surprised by that. Bummer to hear, but I think based on what you're saying today, and even prior to this, I think you and I are both more in the camp of like Booker needs to change more so than Izzo needs to change, which I think says a lot, because you and I would be loud about if Izzo was doing something horribly wrong here. And we have said, like, I still, even if his effort's horrible, I still think he should be getting 4 minutes a game. Like, he should just be getting a stint. But I don't put that on Izzo like it's holding the team back in a horrible way. Like, it's on Xavier Booker to earn this right now. And, this would be a really good week to put some positive steps forward towards earning this. Have a quick numbers thing. Hashtag not a math podcast for you. But I want to do a quick guessing game with you. All the players in this game, we said Georgia Southern's horrible, right? Really bad basketball team. If you just lined up every individual player that's going to play in this game from both teams' rosters, and you sorted them in order from left to right in terms of who's shooting the best from three. Hey, guy that's shooting the best from three, stand on the left. Hey, guy that's shooting the worst from three, stand on the right. Out of the first 8 guys in line, how many are Michigan State players?
The first out of 8?
Out of the 8 best players that will play in this game, who are shooting the best from three this year, how many of the top 8 guys, based on how they've shot the ball this year, are in a Michigan State uniform?
2?
1. You know who it
Tyson?
is? Trey Holloman.
Oh, shit.
Listen, this is where we are at on the season, Carter. Trey Holloman would be the first person in that line. He's shooting 54% from three. You go down the list from there, there would be 7 consecutive Georgia Southern players who are shooting better than the next Michigan State player, which is Tyson Walker, who's making 30% of his shots from three.
Hey, do we know what attempts are looking like on those Georgia Southern players?
No. I just have the KenPom page up. I'm sure it's not good. But I'm like, for those numbers people out there, let me read some numbers. 30, 14, 29, 18, 16, 20, 0. You know what those are? Those are individual Michigan State good players. Shoot, like Tyson's at 30, AJ's 14, Jaden Aiken's 29, Malik Hall 18% from three. 18% from Malik Hall. Jeremy Fears 16%. Xavier Booker 20%. He just went 1 for 6 last game. Cohen Carr 0-0-0. And he's going to stay at 0-0-0. It's like, it's just kind of crazy. I know we've talked about shooting, but it's crazy when you actually read those out loud. And I know there's going to be positive shooting regression. It's going to come back. Like, these guys are way better shooters than this. At least Tyson and Jaden are. But like, man, they're due. Like, aren't they just due for like a 20 for 22 night and everything evens out a little bit?
Maybe. I don't think we're due for anything at this point with what I'm seeing.
So you don't trust it. You're worried.
I am confident that Jaden and Tyson will regress back to their norm. Everyone else, I honestly don't have faith that it will. I think this is what they are as shooters.
Okay. How many guys end the season 40% or better from three on this team?
40?
Yeah.
I don't think any do.
See, that's crazy though, because Tyson and Jaden have been that. So that means when you say like they're going to get back to what they are, they're not going to get back to what they are if you think they're going to finish before or below 40.
Part of that's not their fault. And not even the tough shot part. Part of that is that other people around them are giving them nothing to not even a spacing type issue. I'm just saying, like, that is part of it. Obviously, I don't want to harp on that every single like Michigan State thing that we do, but it also has to do with the fact that, you know, AJ's basically he's giving us a half of basketball, and we're going into game 7, and we have one half of basketball from him. Like, that's just it's hard out there. And then you couple that with Tyson's, you know, banged up, he's sick, all this other stuff. It's just like and honestly, part of that him being banged up is probably because he's carrying his damn team on his back. Like he has had to. But I don't see them either of them honestly shooting 40%. Like, I think at the most, especially with the attempts that I want Tyson to take too, because I think Tyson's attempts just have to be up there, which I think is going to affect his percentage a little bit. I don't see a guy that shoots 40. I think Jaden might lead the team eventually, and that'll probably be around 38.
Okay. All right. I think you're accurate with that. It's just when you actually spell out the numbers, it is pretty fascinating, because I would have thought, like, no brainer those guys finish above 40, even if everybody else in the team can't shoot. But we'll see. Leaves to be made. Go ahead.
Sorry. Can I say one more thing before we move on from the Xavier Booker thing?
Sure.
Because I think that it's also worth noting that we say all this stuff about, you know, Xavier needs to get himself going. He does. Izzo needs to unlock Xavier. Yes, that's also part of it as well. But spin zone here, what does Xavier Booker see out of guys on this team? Does AJ Hoggard not have body language all the time and loaf around when things are going well?
I don't like that. I get what you're saying, but I don't like that. I think those guys practice different than they may have moments in games.
They probably do. But I think that when you pointed out the fact that he should get some type of minutes, even though the effort isn't there, I'm just saying I see some other things as far as, like, guys are getting minutes even if, like, effort or body language is bad. Now, granted, it's different in practice, but I'm saying during the game. I don't think DNPs are acceptable. Not with this team. I get it. Send a message by playing him 5 minutes. Don't send a message by not letting him take off his warm-up.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with that. You know, I want him to play minutes. I want him getting 5 minutes a game minimum no matter what. I'd like more than that, but I'm not going to run around screaming that Izzo's doing something wrong if there's reports behind the scenes that this is bad. So I have some quick hitters for you. By the way, though, while we're talking body language, Mr. Body Language PhD over here, the most concerning body language issue for Michigan State basketball right now is your body language. I mean, good Lord, my friend. Like, they lost to Arizona. There was a lot of people in the Discord being like, oh, yeah, we can kind of see it. Like, there's a pulse here. This team's going to be – and you're out here fighting Michigan State fans in the Discord, shutting them down, telling them you stink, telling them you have a Sweet 16 ceiling, telling them you just don't see it with this team anymore. So, like, I'm worried about your body language. You want to point out AJ Hoggard, Xavier Booker, whatever. Like, your body language is a problem right now for Spartan Nation.
There's plenty of other outlets and people that you can go speak to that'll make your spirits higher. This is how I see it. This is my point. This is my point guard. This is my team.
Okay. All right. I look to you to be a catalyst sometimes, you know, like if they get a big win against Georgia Southern, can we get like the victory glasses back on?
A big win against Georgia Southern.
I didn't mean that in a negative way. Can we get the victory goggles back on? Can we get the victory shades?
For a win over Georgia Southern?
Yeah.
For a win in the cover, I'll throw the victory shades.
Okay. We need a cover. Okay. That's good. Good to know. By the way, on the topic of like Xavier Booker, just one final thing, man. The theme of this year for Michigan State sports all along, Cart, has been if you're going to lose the games, you got to play the higher ceiling guy, right? That's what we were told 1,000 times. Like if Michigan State football's going to hire a sexual deviant and then fire the sexual deviant and go 3-7 or whatever it was, like you got to play the higher ceiling guy. You got to play the future. Caden Hauser's the future. You got to play him, right? Can that be applied to Xavier Booker right now too? Like, is he the future and we need to play him or no?
I just want to play that guy because I think that he's talented.
Okay.
I want to see if Caden stunk.
Okay.
It confirmed that he stunk. So I needed that.
Got it. Okay.
I needed to see it for myself. I'd like to see if Xavier Booker's not ready. I'd like to give a little peek, little inside peek and see what it looks like.
Okay. You did say, based on the last game, he wasn't showing you enough on the court to make you want more of him.
When the other team is checking us, they actually close out to Xavier Booker.
Okay. I'm with you. Look, I know I'm just like twisting the knife a little bit, and sorry to the Spartan fans that didn't like my role in the Jonathan Smith video where I proclaimed he might not be a savior. He's just a good football coach. But there's a rivalry element to this. That's who we are. That's not going away, okay? You get to clown me when things go poorly for my program, which they are right now, by the way. You should be clowning me on that, not for me clowning a good Michigan State basketball team. 3 quick hitters to wrap this. Quick hitter number 1. Are you upset this team's not ranked?
No, they shouldn't be.
Simple as that. Quick hitter number 2. Feels like a lot of the good Michigan State performances this year have come with it was this guy game. Like we had the Trey Holloman game. I think we had a Malik Hall game. I think we've had an AJ Hoggard half. We've obviously had a Tyson Walker game. They beat Georgia Southern by 50 and everybody feels great. Whose game is it in this game?
Akins.
Ooh, I like that call.
Yeah, Akins.
What does that look like if it's an Akins game?
20 ball.
Just his typical way?
Yeah, 20 ball, and honestly, I don't care what it looks like. A 20 ball.
20 ball with like a nice poster in transition and like 4 threes.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that. Okay. I could see that. I like that prediction a lot. And final thing, this is on you. 3 things you want to see in this game, 1 sentence or less. Go.
I want to win by 25 plus. I want Xavier Booker to play 15 minutes. I want the small ball lineup to be used for a majority of the game. Don't know what the minute allocation will be on that. You're the math guy of this podcast, but I think the small ball should be used absolutely heavily.
Okay, so those are your 3 wishes. If I now go back to you and say you have these options, tell me which option you would take. You could have all 3 wishes come true, but I die. Or you could have 2 of 3 wishes come true, but I get in like a minor non-life-threatening car collision. You could have 1 of 3 things come true, but I stub my toe to the point of like serious bruising to when you come visit me Saturday, like we're not super mobile. Or you can have 0 of the 3 and I'm perfectly fine. Which one are you choosing?
I'll do the Tubstow one, and that's not because I want one that bad. It's just because I'm going through a Tubstow in life, I feel like, and I want you to stub your toe with me.
Okay, we can Tubstow together.
Yeah, and I don't even care which one it is. I kind of just want you to stub your toe.
You do realize it's toe stub, not Tubstow.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, like I said, man, like I'm a little bit out of it. All right, not in the best place.
All right, go green, go white. Thank you for not wishing death upon me, Cart. Good luck tomorrow night.